Hello again, it's Tridemity, and I'm back at you some more Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls content. In today's video, we're doing something a bit different. We're going to cover a Greater Rift 61 clear on my Demon Hunter. It's not overly impressive, but it's good enough to show you guys like the higher end kind of Greater Rifts of Demon Hunters. I mean, we ranked like 70 or 60 or yeah, 60 with it, so it's fairly high and a pretty good clear. So I'm just going over like what you want to avoid, what you want to do, mob types, things like that. I do have an in-depth guide on the actual build itself, so if you click the little annotation on the screen, you want to see the build, go ahead and click that, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you do enjoy the content. So let's just get right in there and get started. Okay guys, so getting straight in there, first thing you probably want to know is the build I'm using. I'm currently using a pretty cookie cutter one, I suppose, with a bit of my own skills in there. So Focus, Multi-Shot with Arsenal, Wolf Companion, Vaults with Trail of Cinders, and Max Discipline on your Preparation. Now, I'm using Smokescreen. The choice I've gone with Smokescreen is actually the extended to 1.5 seconds instead of using the reduction on Discipline. Reason being, when you're fighting reflect damage packs, it's much better to have the 1.5 seconds. You hardly notice the discipline difference from the 4 different talents, so it's pretty good. In rifts like this especially, it's nice because you're not dodging too much stuff with vaults. The minion types are fairly calm, slow, things like that. So it's definitely worth looking into. If you're not running Smokescreen, you find yourself skipping elite packs with reflect damage. Now, with this build, you can kill the blue packs with reflect damage, but skip the yellow packs, because the yellow packs with reflect damage just are not worth the time investment. I think I skip one coming up, but yeah. So that's the build, and then talents-wise, just the main DPS talents. Yeah, you can see in the comment section below, but it's pretty much just all the main DPS ones, passives that is. So yeah, gear-wise, full UE, all the cookie-cutter items. Not much to say there. Gems, I'm using Ice Blink, Bane of the Trapped, and Zaze. Now, I went Ice Blink because I kind of just like it. I'm going to swap to Taeguk when it's fully leveled, but honestly, I haven't invested time in leveling it. I just leveled it up to 40 today, so I'll probably hit like 65 or whatever later on with it. But yeah, Taeguk's probably the best way to go, but I just like the guaranteed slow proc off my Focus with the Ice Blink. There's definitely nothing wrong with going it. Obviously, you can have a DPS to clear this kind of instance, but guaranteed when you hit Greater of 63, you're going to want to swap out of your Ice Blink probably and go for something a bit more DPS-y like Taeguk. It's just not the damage on Ice Blink. I think you need that extra damage off Taeguk pretty much to do it. So yeah, getting into the Rift. As you can see, this Rift type, density is really good. Mob type is perfect. I would consider this mob type to be like my dream come true, kind of. Grotesques give you like a shitload of Rift EXP. Zombies are fairly decent, and then the big Executioner guys are pretty good on XP as well. The key being they're normally in tight packs, big packs, and they're very slow, so easy to kite. So you don't have to worry about survival too much. This is like the prime example for a Rift where you actually don't need Smokescreen. So yeah, it's probably like my 15th attempt on 61. I did 60 in like 3 tries or something, and then 59 in 1. So this is where the difficulty started to kick in with my gear. So I'm kind of on tilt going into this because it's like my 15th time, and this is actually my last run of a night. I was like, you know what? I'm going to bed. I just can't be bothered anymore. I'm dying to stuff constantly. I'm not like shooting in the right direction half the time. And then I rolled this Rift, and yeah, it works out pretty well. Key things going into it. I mean, like when you're fishing for a Rift, key things going into that is knowing what mob types to look for and what mob types to avoid. Now, mob types to avoid are like small, annoying minions that are in huge clusters, like wasps, for example. Those things are garbage for Rifts. Like, it's such like a false sense of security. Like, oh my god, I'm killing a group of like 50 dudes at once. My follower just pulled them all in with Essa Johan. My bar's gonna fly up. It's like, no, you kill like 50 guys, and your bar's like, no, like, we're not doing anything today. And then the wasps are generally paired up with even more annoying guys like Lacuni Prowlers and things like that, who jump on top of your face and throw fire at you. So those are the kind of things you definitely want to avoid. Erics, I think they're called, the ones who like dive in at you from across the screen. They're pretty annoying to fight. I mean, if you're not using smoke screen, they can be a huge nuisance. Pretty much you're just looking for like grotesques, the hammer type minions. They're great for experience towards your bar. They have a lot of hit points though. And then those big hulking dudes who leap towards you and stun. There's some of them in this. I forget what they're called though. Pretty much just like there's one there. Pretty much like these big types of monsters you want to fight. Let's actually like look at some of the gameplay here. This rift map can be very tricky sometimes because like it's either really big open caverns or like really tiny thin hallways. And this is pretty lucky because it's a good mixture of them both. The thin hallways are actually really good sometimes, but if you see too many of them, they're like absolutely terrible because you can't group things up together. So as you can see here, like I'm going into the big areas, grouping them up, and then funneling down into the small area and letting them come through kind of like one at a time to the point where they almost get stuck and I can just freely shoot at them. So yeah, this is a perfect kind of rift for that. But yeah, pretty much I'm flying around, just gathering everything up and pulling them back to these areas for like maximum survivability and mainly just max AoE. Like I'm not using any skills that pull everything inside and group them all up kind of thing. So as you can see here, I'm fighting a reflect damage pack. I'm doing my best. I've already died once. I'm doing my best to smoke screen and attack. Right here you can see me. So he gets walled off, plus he's got reflect damage. So I'm like, okay, let's just build up some hatred, let that fade off, and go kill some other stuff. I'm just about to proc my big combo for damage, which is my elements, my ring, plus my companion. So I go just like sniper off some other stuff in the distance, wait for his reflect damage to go down, and finish him off, because I've procced awareness. I've already died to him once. I don't want to waste any more time on that blue. It's just not worth dying to. So, yeah, run off. Let that reset. Here you can see this is my biggest mistake, by the way. I get really excited every time I get a conduit or power, and I choke. And I see people doing this on live streams all the time, pushing Greater Rifts. It's like, you play differently when you get these. And it's really important you, like, keep your cool. Because it's really exciting. You're like, hey, like, look at my progress. Like, I'm about to push this to the point where I'm guaranteed to beat this Greater Rift. And then you start taking risks. Like, you vault into the middle of 20 guys like I did. For no reason. I could have vaulted down and survived, but I didn't. I vaulted left in the middle of a bunch of dudes and died. It's so important you learn to keep your cool in those situations. Like I said, though, I'm on tilt here. I've, like, at this point I'm focusing, kind of, but I've kind of lost the will. It's like 2 in the morning or something, and I'm tired. But yeah, it's really important you keep your focus. Like, when you get the power pylons especially, I actually, nowadays, like, if my awareness is on, like, a mediocre cooldown, like, it's got, like, 30 seconds left, I won't pick up the power pylon until my awareness is back up. Because it's kind of like, if you pick up that power pylon, die for the second time, take 5 seconds off, like I did with that conduit, it could be game-changing. Like, you could just fail your progress right there because you got excited, picked it up, and then died immediately. Or at least if your awareness up, you can take a second, you can take a few more chances, a few more risks, and yeah. As you can see here, though, like, this rift is like a dream come true. Literally, like, grotesques, executioners everywhere, packed into these small areas. I'm just pulling them through. My guy just procced Johan, pulling all of them into each other again. I just took an awareness proc. Again, it's not a perfect rift. You can't always be paying perfect attention. But yeah, you know, it's just one of those. Demon Hunters are kind of difficult to play right now. Your attention span needs to be, like, absurdly high for you to actually pull it off. Especially, like, if you're not using smokescreen, which I won't be once I push to greater of 63, you need to be on your ball. Like, if you start to go on tilt, just stop playing and go play another game and come back maybe later, or go farm some, like, materials or something. But yeah. So here, I have awareness up. I'm not even bothering looking at that pylon. I'm like, hey, I don't want to get excited again. I feel like I can beat this rift. Like, my progression's really good. Depends on, rift bosses don't really matter too much, but we're looking good. I just don't want to die to this yellow pack, pretty much. I'm going to play it really safe. You know, we're ahead of the timer. Pick up that shrine later. It doesn't really matter. And it's kind of important to know when to do that. Like, if you're ahead of the curve, like, we're like 25%, or like, you know, 20% ahead of the timer right now. So we can afford to play safe. I could even, with yellow packs, I normally gather more stuff into them because yellow packs on their own are pretty cancerous. But this is how far ahead I am. I'm just like, hey, play safe. I even procced awareness there. So I probably would have died going for that pylon, just like a prime example. I even wait for the arcane to go down. So it's speed pylon. So I would have possibly risked maybe the rift for a speed pylon. So yeah, sometimes it's not worth it. You just hold back if you're ahead. I mean, if the bar was perfectly, if I was like on the timer right now, I would have vaulted straight into that pylon, picked it up in case it was like conduit or power or something, because that would have actually got me ahead of the timer. But we're in a good spot, so yeah. One note about yellow packs. Man, like yellow packs, they're not worth it half the time to fight. So like if I was on like my barbarian or something, I'd skip it. I'd just be like, okay, whirlwind past you, whatever. But on a demon hunter, it's a bit trickier to skip yellow packs. Reason being because like, okay, so you need to vault past that yellow and then get into a safe spot where you can clear a big enough area to kite and kill things into. Like here, like, so yellow pack's gone now. In a good spot here with like, you know, I can kite things, I can get into a safe spot. So yeah, if you can skip them, you need to get yourself into that really good position where you can kill all the white minions around you, and then push forward into the rift. Where on barbarians it doesn't really matter because like you're kind of safe most of the time. Like your survivability's way up there. You can just whirlwind into another room. Where on a demon hunter you cannot. So it's a bit trickier. If you're fighting a yellow pack and like you've invested enough time into it, try to pull more stuff into it. If your awareness isn't proc, like push forward in the rift a little bit. Don't lose sight of a yellow, but try to pull more stuff in. So at least when you're AoEing down that yellow pack, you can be AoEing down some actual progression simultaneously. So at this point in the rift now, I'm pretty excited. Like I know I'm gonna get it unless I like completely fold. So I'm just playing safe. Like I'm not pushing too far ahead and farming huge groups. I know for a fact I can kill any rift boss in that amount of time. And most rift bosses you won't die on. So here I do something kind of dumb. I'm like, do I need that blue pack? I hesitate. I'm like, do I need the blue pack? Do I need the blue pack? And I'm like, yeah, okay, I need it. So I like AoE a bit to the left to pull it in. I should have just pulled it immediately. Probably would have done it a good like 7 seconds quicker or something. But it's like those little split decisions you have to make when you're like at this point in the rift. You're like, how many minions do I need to kill? I don't want to pull too many, but I don't want to kill not enough minions to progress the bar, so I wasted DPS not AoEing down stuff it could have been AoEing down, if that makes any sense. So here we have it. This rift boss is extremely easy. Threat of death is reasonably high. Like, I'm kind of sleeping, so I think I take one awareness proc. But generally, she's fairly easy. You just... with the binder, you just make sure your wolf and your whatever minion guy you're using, whatever follower you're using, is kind of in front of you, because they actually soak the poison. As you can see, the green things around her body are being soaked, and then as well they kite and tank most of the things that she's spawning, like her little spiders and stuff. So just keep a distance. When you see those green things coming in, either vault or smoke screen out of the way. So there you go. That's a slow one, easy to dodge. I do take one in a sec though. Rift bosses, it's extremely important that you rotate your DPS properly. There we go, I took that one. So your ring, you should always be watching your ring buffs. As you can see, I'm making sure my hatred is very high for when my fire element comes up. Because it's just too nukey. Like, if you can get that up with your wolf, the nuke DPS when they're below 60 or 50%, whatever your offhand is on, the damage is really high. And while you're clearing the rift, you should always pay attention to your resources as well. Always try to stay around 80 hatred, so when your fire thing comes up, your fire element, you can nuke down. Like, you can see through the rift a few times. Probably should have highlighted it. But I actually pool my hatred quite a bit. There I overcap it a little bit, but that's fine. Yeah, I pool it a lot, and as you can see, the damage is just, like, unreal when it comes in. Like, you can see her health bar just go down, like, 15% over those 4 seconds, maybe 20% or something, depending on if wolf's up. So here, I wait for my wolf to come up, everything 100%, and I just nuke. All my cooldowns are up. I got this in the bag. We got about a minute left, so yeah. There you have it, guys. Let's close this out with a few, like, little final thoughts and stuff like that. Okay, guys, so that wraps it up for the video overall. If you did enjoy the video and you want to see more of this kind of stuff, like when I push 62, maybe 63, and then when I start in my other classes, just let me know in the comment section below, because I do really appreciate the feedback. I take it all into consideration, things like that. But yeah, guys, I'm going to do for my next guide, like a stutter step guide, because I've had a lot of people now on my friends list and just like in just generally like random parties and stuff. They're like, how are you pushing such greater rifts? Like, my gear is better than yours, things like that. And then like I play with the person and it's like they'll just like stand still and just do that, and like stuff will hit them. So I had a few people actually request, they're like, can you like show me how to stutter step, things like that. So I was like, okay, we'll just do a guide on it. I don't know how it's gonna go because I just didn't. It's gonna be hard to explain how to do it properly and like what to avoid or like how to watch out for things, because I don't feel like I'm that great at it, but I guess we're doing okay, I suppose. So yeah, that's the next one to watch out for. And then I'll do hopefully some more Demon Hunter builds, like I want to do Natalia's, things like that. And then we're going to move on to either Monk or Witch Doctor for my next one, as I'm loving both those classes. I just want to get like top like 30 on the leaderboards here, and then I'll be satisfied with that for the season, and we'll start playing other classes for fun, because I'm just playing for like progression right now. But yeah, guys, check out the full video guide on this. You can click the annotation on the screen. It'll bring you right there. Or it's in the... Just go through my videos, and it's probably the second latest video next to this one. So yeah, guys, that's it for today. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought, and we'll talk to you all later. Bye-bye.